What is your high school crush doing now? Story 1. He's married, has 2 fabulous kids. He and his wife own a ranch where it looks gorgeous. I'm divorced, unemployed, trying to restart my life in my mid-40s, and it's hard. So, for those who are all, he might be miserable, you never know, I actually keep in good touch with him and can confirm he is happy. I'm not bitter. Well, I sometimes have waves of bitterness, but not at him, just at life in general. And am holding myself together. Just remember, you're only seeing the highlight reel of his life. Hang in there. Story 2. She was an exchange student who I was absolutely over the moon for. We had a few dates, and I think she was fairly sweet to me, but didn't want to get too involved with someone who would soon be on the other side of the world from her. And I think a little bit of cultural stigma at play as well. Now she's a professional athlete of some note. I think she competes with her national team. Naturally, I still have vague notions of us getting back together someday. Oh man, I remember having a huge crush on an exchange student. Mika from Italy, wherever you are, it never would have worked between us, but you were a lot of fun. Hope you're doing well and as big of a firecracker as ever. Story 3. She sent me a Facebook message recently when I updated my relationship status with my current girlfriend, saying she's like me since high school. We're 25 now. I haven't lived in my hometown in 3 years and am in a very happy relationship now. Maybe you should have told me this when I was really into you and we went to school together. But what do I know? Obviously, break up with your current girlfriend and go out with a girl who liked you back in high school and didn't decide to tell you till 7 years after you graduated. I hear the makings of the new Hallmark Christmas movie. Story 4. He's married to his high school girlfriend. When I was a sophomore, he was a senior, and I wrote him a note and asked him out to get coffee. He was so polite about turning me down. Todd, you beautiful man, if you're reading this, hi, and thanks for not crushing a 16-year-old to pieces. Edit. For everyone asking, he told me he was very flattered I had asked him on a date and politely declined because he was in love with his girlfriend, now wife. He was cordial and honest, and that he would wave to me in the hallway when we passed each other. Everyone should be nice like Todd. Todd Howard, you did it again. If you break up with someone like this, they will be okay. It just works. Story 5. He is a high school financial literacy teacher at my daughter's high school. True story, when I was a freshman, he was a senior. He spread word around that he liked me and wanted to hang out. We got to know each other. He asked me to come home. I was so excited. We go to homecoming with another couple, and this D-wad ditches me at the dance for the girl from the other couple who went with us. It was all a setup. The guy was too scared to ask me out, so he had D-wad do it, and they set this whole thing up. In 2013 or so, D-Wad found me on Facebook, sent a friend request, I accept thinking, man, F this mother effing piece of crap. But I wonder what he's up to. A few weeks later, D-Wad and another dude we went to school with asked me out for coffee to catch up. Cue the MLM pitch. They didn't want to catch up. They wanted to pitch me their Orwin Woodward cult couples financial freedom pyramid scheme. I was so effing mad. He got me again. Imagine my surprise when I learned that this piece of human excrement is a effing financial literacy teacher and his class is required to graduate. I've seen the guy in passing at parent-teacher conferences, and holy crap, he is visually massively uncomfortable. I know he knows who I am, and he knows what a piece of crap I think he is, and that he is a pyramid scheme shill. I cannot wait until parent-teacher conferences in fall of 2020. Like, I am counting down. I want him to have to sit across from me in a professional setting and explain his curriculum to me, and I have questions for him about his teaching. If you're seeing this, F you, Nick. Holy crap, we are starting off strong today. Since this was obviously a few years ago, I wonder how Nick held up. Then again, this was before school in 2020, so I think everyone involved probably had to deal with other things. Story 6. She died far too young. I taught hockey in Canada during summers off from high school. I am an American. And met her one summer day on a nearby beach. We fell in love immediately and wrote letters, actual letters, back and forth during the school year, and I would go back to teach again each summer until we graduated high school. Then we would visit each other for months at a time, as long as immigration would allow, for a few years, until one day I asked her to marry me. I never had a doubt that she was the one. I was just worried because I didn't feel like I could offer her much of a life until I realized I was the life she wanted. We shared the happiest years of our lives together until she told me she had been feeling sick and very tired no matter what she did. She died of cancer shortly after. She went so fast. It was like when you light the fuse on a firework, the brief spark she had was just snuffed out. I watched her life just disappear. I held her hand as she vanished into thin air. I still remember the smell of the cancer on her when I kissed her goodbye. I just wanted to pause the world so she could live her life. Then, when we were all ready and it was time, she could go peacefully. It just doesn't work that way. I miss her every single day. I lost my heart that day. I wish it was me that died, but at the same time, I would hate myself for leaving her to feel like I do. I was so broken. I still am. I decided that day I could never love like that again. Wherever you are, Natalie, I love you. I haven't spoken of her to anyone in 8 years. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video and have a great day. Story 7. I'm not sure, but I know he did get a teaching degree, so hopefully he got a good job and is enlightening kids somewhere. I actually went to the same college that he did, and just before he graduated, I simply sat down with him and confessed that he had been my crush back in high school. He turned bright red and said he was surprised he was anyone's crush. He was caught up in sports and extra classes and didn't date much. He thanked me and gave me a hug, and somewhere in my head, my 16-year-old self shrieked with glee. Story 8. Recently I found out I was the high school crush of my high school crush. Oh, the chances we don't take. Until you ask, the answer is always no. And after you ask, a lot of the time the answer is still no. Sometimes it's ew, no. Story 9. I think he's married to his high school sweetheart. Meanwhile, I just choked on a Dorito. That sucks. I mean, if you choked on a Dorito, then I guess you didn't get to fully enjoy it. Maybe they enjoyed it twice. You never know. Story 10. 5 kids from 5 different guys. You dodged that bullet. I agree. I feel like Neo. Story 11. I just Googled her. Yeah, she's still hot. Did you then Tracy Jordan Google yourself? Story 12. Married, expecting her second kid. Safe to say she did better with romance than I did. Hey, that's okay, champ. Your username implies you're still trying, so that's good. I've given up. Reverse psychology, interesting tactics, but you'll never get my nudes. I gotta tell you, folks, I hear a lot of people in their 20s and early 30s talking about giving up on romance or whatever, and my people, I met my partner in my mid-30s, and my life is wonderful. I struggled for years with anxiety and a brain that hated me, but I worked on myself, and eventually things worked out. I don't look back at all those years without my partner and think, well, this isn't worth it because it took this long to find her. If anything, all of those years just led me to her, and it was worth every day I had to go through. I can't guarantee things will work out, but every day you try is another chance they will. Story 13. He's living with his boyfriend on the coast of California. No, I didn't know he was gay. Same here, but he's in Chicago now. Weird how things work out. Edited to add, no clue he was gay. It was high school, and we never did more than kiss/hold hands because we dated as freshmen and grew apart. We did go to a few dances together, and to this day, he's the best dance partner I've ever had. On or off Broadway. Story 14. These days, she spends most of her time in her grave. Story 15. Got back together with him after 38 years apart. We had 8 wonderful years before he died of cancer. He's been gone 3 years now, and the loss is still fresh, but I am so glad we had those 8 years. Story 16. She's married, 2 kids. I think she's a stay-at-home mom, but I'm not 100% sure on that. We were best friends from age 8, lived down the street from each other our whole lives. After high school, we fell out of touch, and although I've thought about her from time to time, I never look her up. About a year ago, her mom added me on Facebook, so I did a little light stalking, saw she was married with kids, and left well enough alone. Story 17. She's a therapist and happily married. How does that make you feel? Tell me more about that. Story 18. I'm just here hoping to find out I was someone's high school crush. Who knows? Maybe everyone's high school crush was you. Maybe I should find out by hanging out in my van outside of high schools every day. Well, with thinking like that, I can now confirm that you were and are nobody's crush. I would say that I'm sorry to break the news to you, but I'm not. Story 19. I was actually thinking about her the other week. She graduated and never got on social media, so I was never able to befriend her on Facebook. None of my friends even remembers her. I describe what she looked like and everything, so I'm thinking she never existed and I'm just crazy. Maybe she was Tyler Durden. I don't think so, pal. Story 20. She met someone like a decade ago and they've been married for many years now. He's a good dude and I'm happy for her. They're both good people. Great attitude. You just don't see the tears. Story 21. He's on a snowboard trip with our 11-year-old daughter. Damn, I guess they just cut out the third wheel. Story 22. I don't know, she has curtains closed so I can't look in. But is her door locked? Story 23. Divorced after cheating on his ex-wife and trying to wiggle his way into my life. No thanks. How's he tried to wiggle into your life? With his Yeah, not to say a person can't redeem themselves, but it sounds like he's trying to jump from one person to the next. Do some work on yourself first, and then prove you're trustworthy, pal. Then you can wiggle that thing. Story 24. She's married to a guy in the MLB. Before me, she dated another guy who made it to the NBA. I'm decent at beer pong and throwing a frisbee, though. So, she's hot. From the sounds of it, ungodly hot. Story 25. Married to me. Edit. And right now she is mad at me for spending too much time on here. Story 26. I have two. I haven't kept up with them, but this question inspired me to look them up on Facebook. One of them is studying political science at Yale and will be starting law school in the fall. The other one hasn't posted anything on Facebook in years, but his profile picture is a photo of him drinking Jack straight out of the bottle. Sounds like you missed out on a real trophy catch with that second one. To be fair, I've probably had some worse Facebook photos. In fact, I know I have. Story 27. I have two. One is happily married to her wife and serving the military. The other is in the FBI. I think I have a type. Story 28. She's spiraling out of control due to severe mental health issues. She refuses treatment and craps on any attempt from anyone to give her advice on how to cope with it. She's afraid of treatment but can't seem to do anything about it on her own. Ironically, she's in school to become a psychologist. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.